Hey everyone, and welcome to another Clockify video. My name is Julian, and today we'll be covering payroll in Clockify. Clockify lets you accurately track employee or contractor working hours so you can easily manage payroll. With Clockify, you can ensure accurate payroll every time with a reliable record of all hours worked, including overtime. You can track and approve their working hours, track daily team attendance and overtime, see total labor costs, and run payroll with other apps. So, let's see exactly how you can do that and dive right in. You can keep a custom database on each employee, such as the start of their working week, what are their weekly working days, and what is their daily working capacity. If the start of the week and working days are the same for everyone in your company, you can define it for everyone in the workspace settings. You can set reminders for employees if they haven't tracked enough time of it or if they have tracked too much. These reminders can be customized for a specific person or a team based on their working capacity or a specific number of hours and can be sent on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis to employees themselves, their managers, or admins. You can even add custom fields to a person's profile to keep any additional information in the form of text, numbers, links, switch buttons, or single or multiple list selections. Based on the roles employees have, you can grant them the admin role, project, or a team manager role, or keep them as a regular user. Admins will be able to see and edit everything. Managers have the limited ability to change and edit things for their projects or teams, and regular users usually can see and edit their time logs. When it comes to timesheet approval, team managers can approve hours for their team members, while project managers can approve time only on their projects. To calculate the earnings of each employee or contractor, you need to define their cost rates. Cost rate first has to be activated in the workspace settings. You can define one for the whole organization, which will be applied to everyone, a specific one for each employee, a rate for everyone working on a specific project, or a task. And even set a different rate for the employees working on the specific project. However you set your rates, the more specific one will override the previous rate. If you want to see the profit each employee or team generates, you can set billable rates in the same way. And in the reports, you will be able to compare revenue, labor costs, and profit. Billable rates will then only be applied to billable activities, unlike the cost rates, which are applied always, no matter the billability of an activity. Whenever the rates are changed, you can choose to apply the new rate to previous time entries or just the future ones. With Clockify, you can also manage your employees' absence policies. Holidays don't require approval and are usually applicable to everyone in the company depending on the country that you live in. But you can customize holidays for employees in different zones and choose whether they will repeat annually. To make this even easier, you can use Clockify's add-on for public holidays and import national holidays from different countries. On the other hand, policies provide you with more customization. You can choose the employees to whom it will apply, whether it will be expressed in days or hours, and whether half days are allowed for policies expressed in days. You can decide if the policy requires approval and then by whom, if it will accrue automatically each month or a year, and if there's a limit for an allowed negative balance. Employees can request time off even if they don't have enough balance for a particular policy. There's also an option that time off entries get created whenever a time off request is approved, so you can better track the team's absence across all reports. You can always manually add time off days or hours to employees for different policies. Remove time off days or hours and see the history of time off activity for each employee. Employees can request time off to be approved by admin, team managers, and specific members as well. You can also withdraw a pending time off request and reject it if approved by mistake. All employee absences are visible on the timeline, where you can see who is absent, for how long, and based on which policy or holiday. Depending on how specific the time tracking data needs to be to calculate your payroll, you can define a duration format to display only hours, hours with minutes, or hours with both minutes and seconds. To ensure accurate payroll, you should also enable your employees to track breaks or lunchtime and tie it to a default break tracking project. Then, your employees can start tracking their work hours and breaks in a few ways: through a timesheet, tracker, auto tracker, or a kiosk. Timesheets let you track total work on projects and tasks, as well as total break hours by day and for the whole week. In addition, you can add more details to each entry to describe exactly what you worked on, add tags for easier filtering in the reports, and mark whether it's billable or not. You can copy the previous week in timesheets and even save the typical work week as a template and adjust it for a specific work week. Filled-in timesheets can then be submitted for approval. The tracker allows you to track time through a timer, manual mode, and to track breaks in the break mode. You can add custom fields to time entries and mark fields as required to prevent saving time entries without the necessary information. Time entries can then also be submitted for approval right from the tracker's page. With the auto tracker, you can track your activity on apps and browsers right from the moment you turn on the computer. You can use it to see how productive you were during the day and if you had a lot of inactive time. Recorded activity is visible only to you, so you can review your day and decide which activity will be transferred to Clockify as a time entry. You can also customize the auto tracker so it doesn't pick up activities that last only a few seconds. A kiosk provides you with a simple clock in and out system, allowing employees to log when they came to work, what they work on, their breaks, and when they leave. A kiosk can be opened on any device with internet access and web browser. Depending on your employees' schedules, you can customize the number of hours that a kiosk should be available for employees to clock in and out, choose a default work and break project, and allow switching between projects and tasks. If your employees only track time through a kiosk, you can add them as limited users instead of full, so they only have access to Clockify's kiosk. To see who is active at the moment, switch to the dashboard and you will know who is working on what. Clockify allows you to log any sudden or recurring expenses by category and submit them for approval. Expense categories can have a unit price, for example, for mileage or office materials. You can log them by simply entering the total amount of an expense or a unit, adding a project associated with that expense, any details, and a receipt. Expenses can then be submitted for approval. They can also be recorded and submitted on Clockify's mobile app. Approval is used to review and approve any submitted time or expenses. Submitted time and expenses can be reviewed and approved weekly, semi-monthly, or monthly. You can also set lock dates according to your approval period to prevent any changes to past time entries or expenses. You can lock time or expense edits before a specific date, automatically lock edits on a certain day, on a weekly or monthly basis, or lock changes for entries that are older than a certain number of days, weeks, or months. All submitted time and expenses will have a pending approval label, and you will be able to review them one by one if you need more details and approve or reject them. As an admin or a team manager, you can edit submitted time or expenses before approving them. Admins can also remind team managers to approve their team members' timesheets and remind employees to submit their time if they haven't already. You can also edit approved timesheets by withdrawing the approval, but all the changes will remain in the Archive tab alongside other approved timesheets and expenses. Clockify reports let you get real-time visibility into employee and contractor hours to manage overtime and stay on budget. Clockify will automatically calculate how much you need to pay each employee based on their cost rate and work hours. The summary report gives you an overview of all tracked time by project. Here, you can compare employee cost with the total generated amount and see profits by team, employee, project, or client. If you want cleaner data, you can use the rounding option to round time entries up, down, or to the nearest whole number. If rounding is on, it won't change the time entries, only their displayed value, as well as displayed value for revenue, labor cost, and profits. In the detailed report, you can audit time entries with unusual duration and edit them before calculating employee pay. Alternatively, you can add time for others if you notice some employees do not have any logged time but the payroll period is due. The weekly report gives you a weekly overview of activities employees worked on. If you want to check if someone didn't work during the week or they forgot to enter their work hours, you can find users who haven't logged any time. From the weekly report, you can display labor costs, round values, and export data for payroll. The attendance report gives you a way to see daily attendance and overtime hours for each employee. You can see when they started and stopped working, their break time, how many hours they worked compared to their capacity, as well as their overtime hours and time off for that day. You can filter this report, for example, only employees who have overtime hours and export it in a CSV or Excel to calculate their overtime pay. The assignments report shows you the progress employees made on scheduled tasks and projects, and you can also use it to see employees who haven't logged any time. The expense report lists all recorded expenses on projects. You can filter it however you need and export a separate expense report for each employee. If you perform payroll in other software, Clockify allows you to customize and export all necessary information as a CSV file, so you can import it to your payroll software, like such as Gusto, Bamboo HR, and SAP. And that pretty much covers payroll in Clockify. To see a full list of payroll software you can import your Clockify data into, make sure to visit our website and watch our other videos, or just check us out on YouTube. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.